everyone. Good morning. Thanks for coming. Welcome to breakout session 1.11, Good Practice in Youth Social Action. I'm really pleased to be able to present our amazing speakers today. We'll be hearing about the benefits of social action and the impact it can have on students, colleges and their local communities. So the guys that I've got here in front of me today, they will be sharing with you their learning from the Pears #IWill Youth Social Action Apprenticeship project. We're delighted to have with us our Youth Social Action apprentices. So we've got Catherine in the corner, we've got Florence here, we've got Olivia and Aldrich, and then we've got their line managers. We've got Lindsay, we've got Richard, we've then got Sophia, and we've got Kim. They'll introduce themselves later to you. So without any further ado, I will pass you on to our Director of Sport and Student Experience, Dean, who will take you into the session. Enjoy.
Thanks, Ali, and morning, everybody. We are still in the morning, aren't we? Because it's been a long day already. Look, I'm really pleased to be able to join you for this session. Before we even get into any of the detail, I just want to say this is one of my favourite projects that AOC are involved with. It's an absolutely brilliant project, and the whole team have got some really great things for you to hear about that hopefully you can take back to your colleges. Really pleased as well to see that we've got some of our student governors in the room. Still pleased to see everybody else, of course, but the student governors were really pleased to see you, so thanks for coming in, and hopefully there'll be some learnings here that you can take back to your own colleges if appropriate. So we're just going to start off this session just by giving a little bit of context, both to social action itself and also the project that Ali has mentioned and that the guys here are part of. So the history here is that we've worked a little bit in social action for a while at AOC. Youth social action has many different meanings, many different definitions, but in a nutshell, or in its essence, it's the opportunity to make a positive difference to others and to support social change. That's really wide-ranging, isn't it? So you'll see from some of the projects that we hear about today that the interpretation of social action, or the specific projects that individuals and different institutions are working on can differ quite wildly, really, but at its core, it's the opportunity, young people making a positive difference to the social world around them. So it can be part of enrichment, it can be service learning, and even though we're saying youth social action, it's not just involving young people. So it might be volunteering, it might be campaigning, it can be awareness raising, it could be advocating, it can be self-development. There are a whole range of different areas that a social action project can embrace. Why would a college, and why would we as the Association of Colleges want to get involved in social action? Well, we really believe that it supports achievement, it builds confidence, it develops social skills, and it widens experience. So young people in colleges engaging in social action projects, whole range of positive outcomes, not just for the people they're supporting and they're serving with their project, but for themselves. So we've seen community projects that are part of social action, environmental projects, equality advocacy, health advocacy, political action, all sorts. And one of the great things about it is that it's not just an insular set of activities. It often involves working with employers, working with other external agencies from the college. So the project itself, as Ali mentioned, the Pears Foundation and their IWill fund have invested in partnership with the AOC in 5 apprentices, some of whom are here today, who are studying a level 3 youth social worker apprenticeship. So these people are employed by the college, they're studying in their host college for that level 3 youth social worker qualification, and they work with a cluster of colleges around their region. So they've got their time in the host college supporting youth social action projects and students, but they also split their time equally working with 3 other local partnership colleges. So it's a great example, actually, of colleges in our sector working together. Just want to give you a little bit of a heads up, probably not one to look at now, but we do have a full resource bank of good practice from this project. So you'll hear about some of that good practice today, but also an opportunity when you get these slides after the event to click on and access those resources where there are case studies, impact reports, some top tips, and some examples of how you can get some of this work going in your college. So finally from me, some outcomes that we hope to see and we are already seeing from this project. First and foremost, and that this today is part of it, is raising awareness of youth social action. And we want to empower students in colleges, those that we're working with already through this project and others, to take action and address issues that matter to them at a local level. It's a great opportunity, and we hope to see the use of students' voice and their actions in a meaningful way to bring out a positive difference to others, and make those changes and impact on their local communities. For students studying in college, working with our apprentices, we hope to develop their character, their confidence and the skills with a view to future employment. On a sort of a micro level at the college, on a bigger scale, we want to establish sustainable models for embedding youth social action in colleges. What we don't want to see is this fantastic work happen while it's funded by the Pears Foundation and then it to end. We want to show that how this can be sustainable moving forwards. And it's a great way of colleges, who already do this brilliantly in most cases, to engage their local community and contribute in a really tangible way to how that local community is improved. We've already seen that some really strong and lasting partnerships with local organisations can be developed through youth social action projects. And actually it has the positive effect of raising the profile of the college with those organisations in a local area. So whether that's employers, businesses, business partnerships, whoever it might be. So that the college's profile is enhanced by doing this work. There's some great examples of working with other local community organisations, local charities. I was at Shipley College a few months ago, or was it? It was probably longer than that now, but it was a long time ago. But it was good. It was during this project, and we saw how local charities had really benefited from working with the college on youth social action projects. And there's a great opportunity through our involvement at a national level to link the work that we're doing in colleges and in FE with other national projects of this kind. Okay, so that's I guess hopefully a little bit of context from me on this project and why we might want to get involved with youth social action. You'll be pleased to hear that's the end of my contribution to this breakout, and I'm really pleased to hand over now to Rich and Olivia from Leighton Sixth Form College, who are going to talk about their work in this space. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, so my name is Richard. I'm the Manager for Culture and Community at Leighton Sixth Form College, based in East London. We have a bit of a culture of social action within the college. We've worked with organisations like Citizens UK and Leaders Unlocked and Unlock on a range of projects. And it was that which attracted me to the AOC Pears Foundation project in the first place, to get an apprenticing role and then hopefully to create a full-time post to create further opportunities for young people to get involved in action. And the outcome of all of that was Liv, our apprentice.
Hi everyone. So today we're going to be talking about student development through social action. And I wanted to introduce you to a student of ours called Amal. You can see through the arrows. And she joined our social action group on the back of a successful social action event in November 2021. My social action group already wanted to do a event that supported ending violence against young women and girls. And if you don't know already, the United Nations recognised day for that as the 25th of November. So they did an event for that, and that attracted over 200 staff and students. And because of the informative, powerful kind of whole college impact that event had, it recruited more students like Amal to our group that were committed and dedicated throughout the year with us. So Amal joined us having kind of little to no leadership experience or volunteering experience. And then I want to highlight to you, in May 2022, that's Amal leading her own social action project with her peers. And we just want to discuss with you what a powerful impact social action has on student development. So, what is the process? I can't wait to talk to you more in detail about this, but I don't have time at the moment. But the key, I think, to positive social action and student development is giving the young people opportunities. So give them opportunities to push them out of their comfort zones. This is really key for them to build confidence in loads of areas. Give them opportunities to train in subjects that they are passionate about, whether that be mental health and well-being or more skills-based, such as public speaking. I know I needed it, I still need it, so it's great to have those training opportunities. Give them a chance to practice in these opportunities you give them, to make mistakes and learn from them. And also just give them opportunities to learn vital skills about community building and connection. And once you give them these opportunities, you will see them grow into the young leaders that they're meant to be. Over to Richard.
So, following the successful action that Liv organised before Christmas around the UN Day to mark the end of violence towards women, Liv had effectively built a group of about 20 young activists. So the question was how we were going to develop those further. And we came up with a model, Liv came up with a model which I supported, of creating an application form where each of these young activists would sort of identify an issue, something that was close to their heart, something that was local, and that they would sort of kind of evaluate what kind of outcome they wanted from that, what impact it would have, and also budget to make the action happen, and then submit the application form. So that me and Liv reviewed those applications, sort of looked at their feasibility, decided which seemed to be the most likely to succeed, and then handed out the resources, the funds. The following few weeks, that involved Liv coordinating with those activists around the correspondence with the sort of partnership charities that they were working with, around the bookings that were required, sort of logistics, getting to and from places, purchasing what was needed, etc. And Liv can tell you about the success of those actions now.
Yeah, so like Richard just said, that we had my social action group broke into 3 groups that focused on 3 different causes they wanted to fight for. And our first one, back to Amal here in the middle, she did a fundraiser and food donation for our local homeless shelter called Branches. She also led the correspondences with my support to the 2 representatives that came and joined us on the day who were working there at the shelter. And that really just added a depth to the event, some more information, and just really highlighted the importance of connecting with your local charities and communities. And it was brilliant that Amar had the experience of leading that. Our next one was our young people wanted to support refugees in the UK, so they chose a London-based charity called the Refugee Council, and another £150 was raised through raffles and quizzes and games. And finally, the third group, they identified that after COVID-19, there was still a lot of loneliness being felt in many communities. Maybe they had experiences in their families of that, and they wanted to kind of give back to the community and help loneliness, even just for one day, for one person that they met. So they offered free tea, coffee and cake in exchange for a chat in a local park, and it was a really powerful event.
I mean, I can add to that one because I went along. We got there quite early, sort of 10:30, 11 in the morning. We were there until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. In the time that we were in this park, we had a variety of people come through. I mean, elderly people, an old woman that we were talking to who hadn't spoken to anyone for 2 weeks, 2 IT students from India who'd come here to study but had found that their course was online and they hadn't met anybody, a group of heart rehabilitation patients that were on bicycles coming through the park, an Asian women's sewing society that had sort of holed up in a local community centre that just sort of came out to see what was going on, and basically lots and lots of people coming and having a conversation, and every single one of them feeding back that they just thought it was an incredible thing that young people were taking this time and putting their energy into coming into the park and doing this brave thing, talking to strangers and trying to put a smile on people for that particular time of the day. So.
Thank you. So we don't have time to go into this in detail, but there were many steps. I kind of did a little bit of a ladder image here. Lots of steps of student development through the process of social action that the students go through. And all of these lead to a bigger picture, which is changing college culture. It's building community and building character. And if you embed youth social action, I will challenge you to our 3 takeaways, our 3 Gs. I challenge you to get knowing, listen to your young people. What are they interested in? What are their passions? Build that student and staff rapport. It's so important. Get doing. Student-led opportunities and activities for them, get them into training that they want to do, get those knowledge and skills building up, and then get going. Just get on with it. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Smaller projects, bigger projects, it's just such a brilliant foundation for learning. Thank you. I'd like to introduce you to Florence and Lindsay.
Hello everyone, I'm Florence, the Youth Social Action Apprentice.
Hi, my name's Lindsay. I'm the Social Action Enrichment Coordinator at Leeds City College, and I'm Florence's line manager.
So we'll be talking about building social action from the ground up, starting social action at a college. We will be going over how it started, how it's going, and where we are heading.
So before Florence started in the role, Leeds College of Building didn't have a social action offer. Florence's current mentor at the college, Kat, approached me and was really keen to learn more about the Youth Social Action project and wanted to be a part of it and become a member of our cluster.
So when I started, I actually had staff say to me, good luck, and I knew it was going to be a challenge, so I had to think about what's going to get the students interested and get them motivated to take part. I initially went into classes and did introduction sessions with groups and generally spoke to them about social action, what their assumptions were, what they'd want from it, what they've done already, and this helped me generate my offer. I found the main issue I was coming across was that students were mostly interested in things that were going to help their college course and their development, and were only really interested in just coming into college and leaving again and what that involved. So I get the question, are we going to get paid for this? And so you're making good businessmen really, so you can't blame them for that.
So, as well as working with Kat in the enrichment team at Leeds College of Building, Florence has built up really good relationships with the work experience teams and the pastoral teams at the college, and that's made her offer sort of far more impactful and wider reaching as well. And through Florence's work, it's ensured that youth social action and volunteering can count towards the students' youth work experience hours, which has helped them see the benefit of doing the social action projects, and it assists with the offer. It makes it more relevant to the students. It's enabled us to get more buy-in from them and the staff, and it's given them more incentive to take part.
So I went about trying to find some volunteering opportunities for students. I considered the type of work that would be relevant to them and would make them motivated to take part. So I found opportunities like footpath construction with the conservation volunteers, and had students from construction and the built environment taking part. And then around 45 students from plumbing and painting and decorating worked on a community garden with math or theatre. Also, more construction in the built environment did some work with the Yorkshire Wildlife Trust doing pond clearing and wildlife conservation.
And usually in social action, we really encourage students to take a lead in the planning and the delivery of the project, and we want it to be youth-led. However, through our experience over the last couple of years, we've really reflected on this, and we've seen that participation's on the spectrum, and that when you're starting out on projects, you can't expect the students to be able to create like whole projects. If they've not done anything like it before, they've not had the experience, they won't have the confidence to do it. So we found that smaller projects have allowed them to see that they can have an impact on their community, and they can see their worth as well. And the smaller projects have enabled them to recognise the needs of the community more. It's helped them become more empathetic and active citizens, and for us that's far more empowering.
Generally, there's a clear impact of the work. Students gain a lot from the experience, like soft skills like teamwork, self-motivation and communication. One of my favourite stories from the whole year came from one of these projects. we were building a community garden with Math for Theatre, who work with refugees and asylum seekers to do creative projects. We had a group of students and they were having lunch, and there was another young boy there about a similar age who was alone, and he was a refugee. And these students took it upon themselves to go over, invite him to have lunch with them. They went to the shop together and they made friends, which I think is just the most heartwarming story. And it shows that this kind of work isn't just shoveling compost, it's really impactful and actually had a real impact on someone who's probably feeling very isolated. This kind of work also helps to break the stigma against young people and changes mindsets, because people can see that young people can have an impact on their local environment.
And we appreciate that these kind of opportunities and volunteering are really hard to come by. So Florence has done an amazing job at building connections with local organisations, and it's been vital in the work that she's been delivering. She's had to seek out opportunities by networking and contacting local organisations to see what's available. And she's made really good connections, like you said, with Math for Theatre, Canal and Rivers Trust, and many more across the city. Working with these organisations in the community has so many benefits, because they already know the community needs, they know the social needs, and they know the environmental needs of that area, which means that the impact of the work can be far greater. And they also have specialist knowledge and skills to be able to do some of the projects.
So over the next academic year, I plan to continue these volunteering opportunities, as I've really seen the impact and I'm getting more and more staff at the college interested. I also plan to do some longer, more traditional social action projects with pastoral staff, and I hope that they see the benefits of this work so that it can become more embedded in the college. And I'll give the pastoral staff the tools, knowledge and resources to be able to plan and continue the work after my apprenticeship finishes. Thank you. We'll now pass over to Aldrich.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Aldrich Gonsalves, and I'm the Youth Social Action Apprentice for Dudley, Wolverhampton, Houseowen and Walsall. So I'm quite local around here, not in Birmingham but in the Black Country. And this is Sophia, she's my line manager from Dudley. She's the student union manager. I work quite closely with most of the student union across all the colleges. Today we're going to be spotlighting one of the projects that I worked on called Students for Trees. So this project was developed by college students who wanted to share their campaign that they had started to protect the environment, to start about protecting the environment, sustainable living and conservation. The core skills as staff members, we wanted to see the young people develop team building, problem solving skills and creativity out of this. The young people decided that they wanted to work with children from the local secondary school. More specifically, they wanted to work with year 7 to year 9 cohort. The project was funded by the Holiday Activity Food Fund, and the project took place over the summer in 2021. As you know, lockdown shut everything down, and this was a massive project for young people to get involved in. We're going to be going a bit more depth in how the project originally started and all that kind of good stuff, but I want my manager to just go through the NCS specific project.
So this project has many iterations, and it kind of started off when Aldrich joined us. We do have quite a strong social action offer at Dudley College, and therefore he needed to find his own tribe, he needed to find his own people. So we work with NCS, which probably many of your colleges do, and Dan is here actually. Hello. So we run a Dudley College specific model, which Dan, who used to work with NCS, helped us to organise with our local provider, which NCS usually run curriculum-based models, and they may run open offers, but we wanted to close the offer to just Dudley College students, which we felt then would help our students connect with others, make friends in their first term. The offer runs over the half term, and then subsequent weekends post that and obviously they're a social action provider, so it gets students in that mindset, it gives them that core training, and in that year Aldrich was also able to work alongside NCS, so you went on the project with them, worked with them on the residential, met the young people and actually pitched the social action projects to them. The first of which is the first iteration of the overall project, was Sponsor a Tree project working with the Woodland Trust. So that was where the young people chose to pick up that project, go out into the local community, ask community members to sponsor a tree which would then be planted on college property. And then from there you were able to bring a cohort together. So then NCS also offer a change maker programme, which is a legacy programme to NCS because it's only open to 16 and 17 year olds. But then the change maker programme you can recruit from other age cohorts within the college. So Aldrich kind of got his core group together, about 12 people who were part of the Sponsor a Tree project, and then took them and said, let's become a change maker project. And then they took it to the next level.
Yeah. So, as Sophia said, it was the young people decided to take it much further than what was originally planned. The original plan was planting trees on site. We planted over 60 trees on campus now in Dudley College. And we wanted to, there was a pond that was not looked after, so we wanted to renovate that and also create a new social space outdoors so young people could be more connected with nature. This was the original plan, but they also said that they wanted to go into schools. So this is where this project comes in, Students for Trees. So the main outcomes that came out from... Oh,
Just talk about Gen 20.
oh go on.
Sorry, excuse us. So we needed quite a lot of funding to move forward with this, more funding than actually change makers and NCS could provide us, and we were lucky enough in Birmingham this year to host the Commonwealth Games, and they ran a youth social action project called Gen 22 where they would fund 22 projects across the West Midlands for young people, their ideas, and there were 50 shortlisted, and the Students for Trees project, the one which wanted to develop the college property and work with school children, was shortlisted and then won £8,000 funding. So we're very lucky in that respect. Also, again, you know, you've got the opportunity where you're working with youth workers who've got lots of skills and abilities, attributes that they can share across the young people. So if you're looking forward to kind of develop your funding offer and your staff offer for youth social action, which can be a real barrier, then perhaps looking outside of the college for funding opportunities is a good idea, and then bringing youth workers in.
Yeah, so, sorry, the outcomes. So, the young people made new friends. About this one point, I do want to say that there was a guardian who did come to us and say their child had literally no friends, and she was struggling to make friends, and their hope was that their child would be able to make a friend, at least one friend for life. And through this project, it was quite evident that the girl was not connecting well with the group. But through team building, problem solving, trust activities, we managed to gel the group quite well. Now this young person have a friend for life. They go out on Saturdays and they enjoy. So, sorry, I lost
we missed a step. So the step to get to the schools project was that we, Dudley College, sponsor a multi-academy trust, and with the funding that we had received, we decided that we would speak to the multi-academy trust staff, the safeguarding pastoral lead, ask them to promote a project over the summer holidays for school children. Then we recruited 12 of your change makers to work on that project, and we recruited 12 school children. Those school children were deemed as vulnerable by the schools. They were either not going to have any opportunities over summer holidays, had what they considered to be maybe some issues at home, behavioural problems, some of our young people, SEND, free school meals.
I accidentally changed the slide. So the other outcomes from this project was that the young people tried new activities and pushed their boundaries. They developed their confidence. The young people had positive role models through the volunteers and the staff they were working with. Young people identified their strengths and new opportunities that opened up to them. The young people gained recognition and achievement. volunteers participated, those volunteers who participated had work experience through this project, and the and the children demonstrated social commitment.
Yeah, so we're really proud of the project. I think that these college students that worked on the project, they were able to gain that work experience. We were able to give them some support over the holidays. We were able to give them some expenses for their time, which really helped. So, you know, if they didn't have jobs. We also worked with alumni students. They came back in and then they were employed on the project through the money. And the 12 young people, it was meant to be a cohort of 40, and it ended up as 12. But those 12 young people were absolutely brilliant, and we're hoping to work with them in the future. So some of the impacts, are we ready to?
Yeah. So some of the impacts was the 12 children that we worked with. They participated in over 40 hours of youth social action for over 2 weeks. The 12 college students that volunteered for 40 hours supporting the youth social action delivery for over 2 weeks. The community saw the young people in a positive light because we did a lot of projects in the community. We did tree planting, we did litter picks around the local parks. This is where the local community saw the young people take action and not just say that we want action, and this really promoted positive views for young people. Do you want to say anything?
Just strategically from a college aspect, it's maybe looking at those children that we've worked with, their word of mouth now, they're going back into their schools. We'll talk a little bit about the future in a moment, but they had such a massively positive experience. They were turning up, we were meant to start at 10, they were turning up at 9 and waiting in the coffee shop for us every single day, which caused us a few problems. And they really wanted, and they're contacting us all the time now and really want to continue with the project. So, you know, they've gone home, they've spoken positively about it, they're back in their school speaking positively about it. We're continuing to work with the 4 schools and then driving numbers through to come to Dudley College, because, you know, on the first day when they came, like any young person stepping into a new organisation on that day, education institution, carry on, you know, about it, and they just had such a positive experience, and again with our volunteers. And they really made connections with others and connection with the college, which will stay with them now.
So what are we planning for the future? So for the future, we plan to host this activity throughout every holiday time. So it coming up in December, we're doing another litter pick, we're doing another tree planting project, as well as taking the young people to London to meet their local MP to discuss the issues that they're facing locally. We're also planning to further develop this project and make these young people who worked with us, through the school kids who worked with us, into ambassadors to promote this project into their schools and recruit more young people to this project. We're also going to be trying to identify more funding because obviously we need it. Oh, I think I'm pressing wrong buttons over here. And we're also going to apply for the Woodland Trust plaque for each schools. So through this Woodland Trust plaque, you get a list of things to do for the environment, and it's basically a tick box. It's a very easy thing to do if you want to do it in your college or in your if you know about any schools that your college works with. These are some of the things you could do.
Yeah, and the school children that we work with, I think, you know, a lot of reasons as to why people work in youth social action or as youth workers, you know, you need to be the person that they need. They now have that connection with us, and we want to maintain that connection. What we're looking for the future funding is holiday and food activity fund that's rolled out across the country, so you can speak to your local authority about accessing that money to run projects such as this. Maybe on a smaller scale, you know, it doesn't have to be so large. And we're going to, so like Aldrich said, work with the Woodland Trust, apply for the plaques for the schools, and then that would just give us some motivation and some structure as to where we're going with it, and like a tangible outcome for the schools, so they will want to continue to work with us, as well as the character development of their children, that they'll see a positive outcome as well.
I don't have much time, but I'll quickly go through the takeaways. So the takeaways was creating a safe space helped the young people to talk to us. They came down to us and they were sharing stories about their lives. Some of them openly told us that they got bullied at school and they were not confident going out there and talking to young people, talking to other young people. We also started this project with the interest and concerns of the young people. So we kept the young people at the center of this project. We did not develop this project ourselves. Young people were there throughout the process of planning this, and I think this is one of the reasons we were quite successful in this project, because young people felt listened to and heard to. We also asked every day when we finished our activities, we asked young people to evaluate us, as well as the volunteers to evaluate us, and based on that evaluation, we we reflected on it and we implemented the changes that were asked for. Got started there.
No, that's fine. So so we just applied like the youth work practice that Aldrich has learned through his Youth Social Action Award, with the debriefs and the structure and the, supporting volunteers and supporting the young people. And the people that originally worked on it are committed to helping it grow, and the young people are committed to continue to come along. So they came back in the half term to do some more work with us, but we also took them bowling and for a meal. So that was really important. And then at Christmas, like Aldrich said, we'll be doing some more activities with them, hopefully taking them to Parliament if they wish to speak about things that they're concerned about the community that they'd like to change for young people. And just really quickly.
Really quickly, a few things you could do with your young people is do a little pick in your local parks, or do a display board with your young people to promote more environmental projects.
Yeah, Little Bit Bingo is really popular for some reason. It's kind of, you just put out, things they need to find, and they go out and find them, and everybody seems to really enjoy that. Mm-hmm. And then just another quick win, like if you can find somebody, trees is massive at the moment, with CO2 emissions and everything, and people trying to improve their areas. So lots of people are giving away trees, including the Woodland Trust and West Midlands Mine Authority, and perhaps your local authorities. So it's just an easy, quick win. You can plant some trees on your campus.
Thank you so much for your time. And up next, Catherine.
Thank you.
Hello everybody. So my name's Catherine and I work around the Bradford district. So my main college is Shipley, but I also work at Bradford, Craven and Keighley. This is my line manager.
Hello, I'm Kim. I'm from Shipley College. I'm the Director of Teaching, Learning Quality, and I'm more your mentor than your line manager, I would say.
So today I'm going to talk a bit about breaking down the aspects of youth social action. And what do I mean by this? So when I have a new group of students, one thing I always ask them is, what is youth social action? And usually 9 out of 10 times I get blank faces back at me, which is understandable because it's a very new term. But that's why I think it's important that we give them the opportunity to break it down. So like Dean mentioned at the start, First Give's a great project, but even just taking 8 weeks, start off with what is a social issue, what social issues are affecting all of us, for example climate crisis, and then what issues are affecting our community. So in Bradford a lot of the time it's homelessness. And then move that on, so what are charities doing to tackle that? What local charities are around? Can we invite someone in to talk to us? What can we do to help them? And then tackle it through youth social action. And try and think big. A lot of the times the first thought is, oh, we'll do a bake sale. And they're all well and good, and they're good at raising money, and everyone loves a bit of cake. But we can do so much more and use our voices so much more, which is why it's important that we give them that opportunity to break it down into those small sections, so then they can understand, they can pick the issue, and they're going to care more about it. Some of the main benefits I see are building relationships. And when I think of building relationships, I kind of split it into 3 different sections. So the first one's charities. They have the opportunity to network with charities, which we all know is a really good professional skill. They get to help these charities out, they learn what these charities need. The second one is the community. So we know that community often have a lot of stereotypes for teenagers, and it's hard to help break them down. But through the community seeing us doing this youth social action, their opinions start to change. Like last week, we've had a lot of complaints recently from residents about littering. So as part of our sustainability PSHE, We took them all out on litter picks, canal art walks with the Canal and River Trust, and we had members of the community stopping us and saying, "Thank you, well done." And that just shows how it's slowly but surely changing their minds. And then also with each other, they're building relationships within their group. So whatever group you've got, they're not all going to be friends, but through doing a project like this, they build those little connections. So like last year when I did First Give, I had a group who did youth homelessness, and one of the girls in the class actually had been homeless herself, and she shared her experience with the group, and that just gave the group so much more motivation and so much more of a connection. And then they've actually continued to carry on working and volunteering with that charity. So things like that are really lovely to see. And then also the other main benefit I see is character and confidence. So I think this is the one main thing you can get from youth social action. So whenever we kind of do those First Give programmes, at the very end, everyone comes together and you present on stage what you've done. When I tell the students about that at the very start, all of their faces drop. And there's probably only one or two that are up for it. All the rest are, no, I'm not getting on stage. I'm not talking in front of loads of people. But by the end of those 8 weeks, they've actually got that confidence. They care about the issue they've chose. They care about what social action they've done, and they want to tell more people. So their confidence just rises. And they actually feel heard. One of the main things with young people is they feel like no one listens to them. So when they see that what they have done has changed something for maybe a small charity or someone in their local community, their confidence goes through the roof. Which is why it's so important that we give them that opportunity. I'll pass over to you. That one.
So, Catherine talked about the benefits of to the students of social action, but actually I want to just say something about the benefits to the college of having a youth social action officer. And it's not something we've ever considered before. We've dabbled in social action with different sectors and we've done small bake sales and that type of stuff. But this year, Catherine's really taken a hold of it and she's led on it. And I think you need someone to lead and to really believe in the students and the benefits to the students. So it's become very important to us at Shipley College to have someone that can champion youth social action. Really looking at Catherine because she's been very proactive, and as you can see she's quite outgoing and confident. But she has then developed the students in that way as well. And the one thing you didn't mention was sort of enhancing the CVs. So we come from an area of high deprivation and one of the lowest unemployment rates in the country. And those students need good CVs with all types of wider skills on them. So that enhances that as well. So Catherine's done quite a few impactful projects while she's been here this last year. The first thing she got involved with was the food bank. So we've always wanted to do food bank and we've tried to do food bank, but Catherine actually drove it and made it happen. She put the boxes out, she got a group of students to work with her. They sat in the canteen on a lunchtime. She sends regular emails out to staff and students reminding them. And you do need a lot of emails. I really want to help and I still haven't put anything in the food bank. So, you know, you have got to really have someone driving that. How many items have you?
So last year we collected 412 and this year we're on about 200 at the moment, but we haven't done our Christmas appeal yet.
So I think it'd be better this year. So she's set up peer mentor groups with the students where previous students and current second year students were paired with new students or students that started late. You trained them, you gave them t-shirts and sent them off to support the students, which seemed to be working pretty well. Catherine's mentioned First Give. First Give is a really good charity event where we invite the students do some research and look at what the charities offer, the local charities. We invite them in to sell their wares, if you like, and then the students choose a charity in their different groups. When they've chosen one and they've done everything they can to learn about the charity and how they can help it, they present to a panel of judges. The panel of judges choose what they believe is the most impactful of all of those social actions, but the presentation skills do help in that respect because they're the things that really sell it. And then we were able to give £1,000 to that charity, the winning charity. We invite the charities along, we invite senior managers, we invite local dignitaries and counsellors and all sorts of people from around the area and make it a big event. So that's a fabulous one that we do. She set up a pride group for support and networking for students. She's done a couple of weeks just recently, sustainability, where they all went out and got involved with the Canal and River Trust. And then I believe you're doing a mental health awareness support group for students as well.
Yeah.
So that is a lot of things that she's done in a short amount of time that have really enhanced the students' experience, and we're really grateful for that. Thank you.
Thanks.
Cool. Now we've got a few top tips that we've all developed together. So my first top tip is about raising awareness among staff and students. And it's important to raise awareness of social action with both groups. This means telling them what social action involves, the benefits for them and the opportunities that are available. And this helps to get the engagement from students, and it helps to encourage staff to get their students involved. And also staff will know how to tie into the curriculum and work experience. Awareness can be raised through things like posters and leaflets that can be distributed on campus and online, resources about social action that can be distributed in emails, meetings and on posters, training for staff to give them more in-depth information about what social action is, inductions for students to give an overview about what's involved, stalls on campus to discuss opportunities and so students can learn more and come along and have a chat. And I found that all of these kind of need to be done to reach a wide range of people. My second top tip is about embedding social action in different areas. So it's important, so I found that in different campuses, social action sticks differently. For example, at Leeds City College, I work only with the enrichment team, and we deliver social action to departments during timetabled enrichment sessions, and I've made groups that students can sign up to voluntarily, like the Eco Action group. At Leeds College Building, I work with predominantly the work experience team, and work on things that are beneficial to the students' course and their skills development, and things that can count towards work experience. At Harrogate, I do a bit of both, do some work experience for students that are struggling with placements for whatever reason, enrichment with pre-existing groups and creating other voluntary opportunities, and they've also introduced something called life skills to help upskill their students, and they've embedded social action within that. And then at Leeds Conservatoire, it's higher education, and I work with the student union with reps from the SU and providing voluntary opportunities to the students. And another tip is finding groups that already exist and working together with them. For example, at Harrogate, I work with the enrichment team, and they already had an LGBTQ+ group. And during the History Month, the enrichment coordinator wanted me to do a social action project with the students. It was a student-led project, and they planned a fundraiser for a local charity, Yorkshire Mesmac. It was a huge success, and the students became addicted to social action fundraising and continued to do more throughout the year because they loved it so much.
In terms of targeting specific groups, I also focused on the pride groups and establishing them in the colleges that I was working at if they didn't already exist. But it's not a question whether there are LGBT plus identifying students in your colleges. It's a given. So the sooner that we can create these safe spaces for them to be themselves, to have fun, to meet other like-minded young people, the better, and like the quicker that we can make a change and they can help their own communities and support their own groups. And I really saw that flourish by targeting groups that already exist but might not already have safe spaces in your colleges. My top tips today are the importance of one-to-ones, student-led projects, and giving responsibility to the students. So this one's a given, really, but if you want to embed social action in your colleges, your number one priority should be getting to know your students, get to know what they're interested in, what they're passionate about. I'm a broken record, but get to know them early, you know, enrichment fairs, just common areas in the college. Where can you be a familiar face to them? With the college budget, I put a question on sugar paper or on a whiteboard and offer that to be like an interactive thing. Ask them a question like, what's your change in the world? Or what's the social action cause that you care most about? And this draws them in, whether they want to do social action or not, but it just gives us a chance to have conversation. And I really, really value connection. And that just really gets them to know who you are, but you get to know them as well and whether social action's a good fit. The biggest one, though, on this slide is the one-to-one. So last year I went on a 3-day Citizens UK leadership course. I don't know if any of you have done one. It's brilliant and I really recommend it. And if you don't know what a one-to-one is, it's a safe space outside of sessions where you put a bit of time aside to get to know your young people. So last year I put aside 15 to 30 minutes for to get to know members of my pride group and my social action group, which went over a couple of weeks, but I wrote down a few basic questions to ask them all. So I asked them, you know, what drew them to social action or the pride group, a little bit about them, and what challenges and goals do they want to fulfill in that year, and how can I help them? And this really was so valuable. You can choose how much you want to share about yourself as well, but you know, you might find that you have the same link of favourite film or music artist, and that just makes your connection grow stronger. But yeah, I do really recommend you taking some time aside and getting to know. If you have small groups, they get to know you, you get to know them, and it really helps. It just makes your job easier in giving them challenges throughout the year and letting them just achieve those goals. I want to welcome Richard for our next point.
Top tip 2, encourage student-led opportunities. So, I mean, as educators, we often think that we know what concerns young people and the kind of activities that they'd be interested in getting involved in, but students will always surprise us, and they will reveal interests and passions that we're unaware of, and they are connected with their communities in ways that we are often not. And so, therefore, we must listen to young people. We must take every opportunity that we possibly can to ask young people what concerns them, to explore that listening, and then give the students the opportunity to lead on the opportunity. And the benefit to the college of that is that, you know, you have this generation of each year of student leaders who are able, you know, it's a free resource. They have the passion and the energy, and they're able to take things out, you know, more widely because they have the numbers. They bring more students in more easily than certainly I do as an older teacher. So create opportunities for student-led opportunity, and listen to students and let them take the lead. Thank you,
Richard. And the last one is the biggest thing I've learned this year is letting go. It's so easy to be like, I don't want them to go through a bad project and it's unsuccessful, but like, just step back. I need to step back. It's really hard, but they do it better. They do, as much as you don't want to admit it, they do things that we can't even think of doing, and it's just incredible to see. And yeah, this is a lot of reflective journals from me this year, being like, I let go and it was okay. And I was too stressed and it was okay, but yeah, let them do it. Give them the responsibility, because it gives them a sense of purpose. And even just this, and I'm finishing, this image of Ashrafi here, who on our tea and coffee days, she'd never made a cup of coffee before. Her family didn't drink coffee, so this is just something where you give them responsibility, they learn something new, even in the smallest way, and it gives them that sense of purpose. Thank you. And I'll give it to Aldrich for his top tips.
Thank you.
That coffee thing was very familiar because I didn't know how to make a cup of coffee before I went to the student union. But yeah, my top tips are bite-sized project, team building, and connecting with your local organizations. So mini projects or bite-sized projects are quite easy and quick to do. So you could do projects like charity, raising money for a charity for a day, or you could do awareness raising days like LGBT History Month, Black History Month. Just connect with young people. This is where you see them face to face. This is where you can interact with them and talk to them, ask them about their interests. These mini projects can help you reach out to a wide range of people. The next one is team building. This is quite unique and interesting towards me because I did a training called Bags of Character, which I use in most of my sessions. It is quite unique. I have a lot of kit in it, so there are different equipment I use to promote problem solving, creative thinking, trust building. So I'll do a lot of those activities before I start any project, so young people know each other, they gel with each other, they know each other's strengths and weaknesses, so they can work with each other better. And this often works a lot better when you do it in the start of the project. And last but not the least is, for me at least, is working with local organizations. Many colleges won't have the time to go and do 40 hours youth social action project, but this is a very simple way of doing it, like getting NCS in and let NCS do all the projects with the young people if the college don't have time. You can in Dudley we invite an organization like the Watt Center who helps it's all about LGBT. I forgot my words there, but basically they support the LGBTQ community. They provide sexual health testing on site and loads of other benefits working with them. We work well here for youth, Brook. There's loads of different organizations that are scattered around your college that you won't know about. Just ask them to come in and do an activity. And yeah, next up, Catherine.
Hello. So I'm going to talk a bit about adding some fun. So I always say to my students, your social action should not be boring and it shouldn't be a chore. It's something that you should look forward to and something you enjoy doing. So we need help do that. So start with some games, get to know each other, build that rapport with each other, but don't just stop there, continue to add it. Find out what they enjoy, plan an outing, live earlier on in the year, invite an influencer in, do something to grab their attention, find out what they enjoy. If all else fails, food is also a good one. Get some donuts, get a pizza in, and you'll definitely have students at some point that's come out. And also, don't wait till the end of a project to celebrate. Look for little milestones throughout it that you can also celebrate with your students. What do students need? How do we engage them? That is probably the main question I get asked when I tell someone what my job is. They say, how do you get them to engage in this? And I always think, what sparks emotional reaction in them? What have they seen or heard about or experienced themselves that they think needs changed? What do they want to do? Because at the end of the day, if we want your social action to be youth-led, it should be up to them what they're focusing on, what they're doing. Also work with curriculum. So make learning practical. Horticulture, grow some fruit and veg that we can then give to the community. Construction, why don't you build the boxes that they can then use to build it? Or go to a local care home and repair some benches for them. Health and beauty, go to a care home, do their nails, something like that, and just make that learning fun. And then what does our community need? So that's a really important one for when it comes to social action, because all that we're doing is to make a positive difference in our communities. And the easiest way to know what that is to reach out to the community themselves. Invite charities in, invite community members in, invite people with past experiences in. I had a group of students who were focusing on alcohol and drug charity, so we invited someone in who had been through addiction himself, had been to prison, and now is in recovery. And that just gave them the motivation to do it. And going back to adding in something fun, that group decided that they wanted to do something a bit out of the ordinary for their social action project. So they planned a penalty shootout, but with drunk simulation goggles. So it got to raise the awareness of the effects of alcohol, but also raise money, because we had to pay for the penalty shootout. And who doesn't love a penalty shootout? So, yeah, that's all for me. Thank you.
Hi everyone. I definitely don't want to be the person that keeps anyone from lunch. So I just want you to join me again and saying a huge thank you to all our presenters today. I think they've been absolutely brilliant. So yeah, huge round of applause. We were meant to be having a bit of a Q&A, but what I think we could do is, if we sort of stick around, if anybody's got any questions, come and sort of join us, see us for 5 minutes, grab one of us, and we'll be happy to answer those. Also, I can give you my email address. I'd happy do a coordinated sort of Q&A. So if you've got any questions, I can put it to our panel, and then we can sort of feedback that way. But yeah, thank you very much for your time and your engagement. Yeah, another huge round of applause for this.